Good morning, everyone. It's Kimberly. Welcome back to the channel. So I have your messages from the Masters for the week of October 6th, 2019. I'm going to be doing some automatic writing, and I feel like today's theme is collective symbolism. I know that there's been a lot of symbolism coming up for the collective, and they've been telling me that this is what we're going to touch upon. To understand the symbolism better and to understand why certain symbols are coming up for universally at this time, as well as for you and your personal journey as well. So we'll do some automatic writing as we normally do, and then I'll pull cards from the Oracle decks for the messages from Ascended Masters and the Archangels. Okay, so I'm sipping some tea. I hope you guys don't mind. And we've got Zoe who wants to chime into our reading. So you might see a big fluff ball come and interrupt in a minute. So let's see, just a couple of reminders. So firstly, I'm going to give you guys a separate video with my sort of Cancer update. There is definitely an update. So I'll do that in a separate video, I think. And so if you want to see that, I know some of you are interested, some of you not at all. So I don't want to kind of tack it on to this video. So if you're interested in that, look out for that. I should be posting it over the next day or two. Reminder, I still have my lunar phase reading special up. I think there's a few appointments still left on Monday and Tuesday of this week. So if you are wanting to have a reading before the full moon in Aries and looking for some guidance at this time, you can book that on my website, spiritualmaterialgirl.com. You guys don't forget to donate if you like these videos and or just want to donate to my cause. I really appreciate it. That link is on the website as well. Okay, so let's just kind of delve into some of the writing, and we're going to see what comes through. Those of you who are not used to this series or maybe just joining in, it takes me a few minutes sometimes, so just be patient. You might even just want to fast forward for a minute, but messages come through the writing. Also, if you want to see the previous videos from this series, you can click on the playlist on my channel, and these are all clumped together. So okay, so they're telling me to stop here. So essentially what's coming up is, I'll have to move this back a little bit so you guys can see, is the frog. So they're saying frog leaps, it's representing leaps in the right direction. And then like they showed me like these like little arrows, like each of these representing jumps or hops, like a series of hops or jumps. I think the message here is it's about like when we take a big leap, sometimes it feels like it's a big leap, but they're trying to say like it's really, if you watch a frog doesn't leap. A frog can't leap really, really far, right? It's going to take a series of jumps or leaps to get to where it's going. The frog symbolism itself represents like good luck and fortune. It's also like the frog asks us to emotionally clear, or like physically and emotionally clear anything that's not healthy for us. So I feel like when they're saying like that you're leaping or you're hopping, it's really like hopping and jumping in the right direction. You're omitting or moving away from what is unhealthy. So I want to tell you guys a story about this. When we were at my retreat that I held a few weeks ago, we were standing by the fire, and there was like a big outdoor fireplace. And one of the participants who came, she saw this little tiny, tiny, tiny baby frog hop right into the fireplace. And we all stopped what we were doing and we tried to find this thing. And so it was like hopping like really close to the fire, like almost like it would disappear in the fire. We were like, oh my God, it just like leaped into the fire. But then we moved some things around and then it would hop on the outskirts, and it hopped its way back to the other side and it found its way to safety. And I feel like maybe that was like a symbolism also for like, sometimes we have to go close to the fire to understand like what's not meant for us. Okay. So I feel like that wasn't just for our group or for like one person, but that was like universal symbolism, especially where the frog is coming up in our channeling, that, moving away from what's unhealthy. Some of you have had to go closer to the fire to figure out what that is, to figure out that it's not healthy, that, ooh, this will burn me. So taking jumps in the right direction is really important at this time. I'm just going to grab a paper towel so I can grease the board. All right, so that's huge. So frogs definitely are coming up. I don't know if you guys are seeing frogs, if they're crossing your path, if you're seeing the images online. When we get the universal symbolism, or you're getting just symbolism in your own personal path, whether one of these signs or animals are like your totem, or they might be coming from your spirit guide team. So this is my feeling on it. I feel like my take on it is that like our spirit guide team sends us signs for our personal growth, development, spiritual evolution, and our life path and life purpose. And so that's from your team personally. So when I'm talking about collective symbolism, I'm talking about the symbolism that like the archangels, the ascended masters, and some of the higher beings who are prevailing over the collective are planting in the collective. And it's sort of like a universal symbolism that guides you individually, but also is guiding like the collective. Okay, does that make sense? Frogs also, I just want to say one more thing about frogs, is that they help you navigate in between situations. So like a lot of times they're known for helping you listen to or hear the messages from other realms, like so connecting like the earthly realm with like the spirit realm or whatnot. But I think they also in a 3D sense help us navigate in between situations. So again, this is about moving away from what's not working or what's toxic, what's unhealthy, what maybe like where we're getting too close to the fire, and then moving into what's right for us, that you're on the right path, right direction. So that when we see that, that's a reminder like to reconcile that, to understand what is no longer in alignment for us so that we can move along the right path. They're coming in as those reminders for us at this time. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, so they're talking about the sea turtle and trust and faith. They're saying conscious evolution. Talking about patience, which a lot of times that's what, turtles symbolize, is patience. The thing about sea turtles, though, is, so definitely showing me like the sea turtle swimming. So there is like a duality with the sea turtle, because on land, a turtle's very, very slow, but in the water, these turtles are very, very fast. I read somewhere that sea turtle, I've been seeing them a lot. I don't know if you guys have, but I've been seeing them everywhere. They definitely symbolize like longevity, a long life, wisdom. But they're reminding you to be like determined and persistent along your path. But I read somewhere that there's like 1 in 1,000 of the little hatchlings actually survive into adulthood. But once they survive, they live like a really, really long time. And so they have a long life. Like, I don't know if it's 100 years or 80 years. It's something like that. So I feel like this is talking about that determination while you have patience. So like, I feel like the swimming is representing the persistence and the keep going and the, they're wanting you to also remember though that there's patience. You need patience in the unfolding. You're undergoing a conscious evolution, which is not one that happens overnight. And you have to be determined and persistent with your healing. Like, definitely this is regarding healing. Okay, and this could be any level of healing for any of you. So it could be physical, mental, emotional. It could be all of those. Spiritual, like the spiritual integration of your mental, physical, and emotional healing. They often do call out for us to be integrating, like take time to integrate, like you're needing to do that. I know that's a big message for me. And they're saying trust and have faith. So doing your work is not enough. Doing the healing is not enough. They're saying integrate it. Have patience with the healing. Have patience with the unfolding. And I feel like the collective sea turtle symbolism is really about this conscious evolution. And it's about you gaining wisdom. Whoops. I'm getting a low battery signal. Sorry, you guys. All right. It's about you gaining wisdom, and it's about you gaining insight and just real inner knowing into, navigation. Think about how they navigate through the water. Navigating your own life, pacing yourself, being persistent, right? I feel like all of those things are so important. And I think that the sea turtle represents very feminine energy too. So it's like, it's that patience, that allowing things to unfold, allowing things to come, trusting, having faith. That's pretty huge. Yeah, so I feel like that's coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are seeing it everywhere too, because I'm seeing them everywhere. And I know that that's probably from my personal guides, but I also obviously am getting that this is a collective symbolism. Okay, so they're showing me the mountains. And they're saying that some of you might be going to the mountains, actually. That's the message I got. Like, you might be drawn towards mountains at this time. You might be planning a trip to the mountains. You might live near the mountains. They're saying go up on a mountain. They're talking about the height or elevation as perspective. So they're really driving home this idea of perspective, like being able to see above what's happening right now, being able to see far, being able to see the whole picture, being able to look beyond like the immediate and the mundane, and seeing the bigger picture, like I said, seeing the whole perspective, gaining a different perspective. Like if you've been mired in the mundane or mired in the 3D, you might need that bigger picture perspective. Going on a mountain will help you do that. If you can't get to a mountain or go somewhere up high, just think about zooming out over your life. They're talking about like the aerial view as being really important. So aerial view, zooming out. So this is really important that we're lifting up out of the mundane. They keep saying that word mundane. I don't even know, it's just coming right through me. Lifting out of the mundane and reach for the higher perspective. Reach for it too. Like once you see what that is, reach for the higher perspective. Okay, so once you see that whole picture, once you see, you know, you might have some insights as to how things are connected, or you might get a breath of fresh air because you're lifting out of the mundane, you're seeing a bigger picture. But it's like they're saying that perspective is what we need to reach for. So as you come back down, once you come back down into your daily life, your earthly life on the ground and your groundedness, they're saying stay grounded, but keep reaching for that higher perspective. Keep it in mind, keep it in sight, keep it in your vision, okay? Okay, look at this, you guys. This feels like, to me, they were showing me a butterfly flying around. This is like the path or the pattern or path of the butterfly. It's not, there's no destination. A lot of times the butterfly doesn't have a destination. There's this beautiful dance, it's like a dance. And there's like a swirling, there's a lot of movement, a lot of motion, there's a swirling, there's different directions, there's different stopping points. You know, that's what those dots are. It's like where they stop and then they start again and then they go around and then they go that way. And it's the butterfly dance is what they're saying. So you guys might be seeing butterflies, but I particularly feel like it's talking about the movement of the butterfly. Now, butterflies do have, you know, they do have destinations. They do migrate. You know, we know that. But a lot of times they're caught up in the dance of, it's a beautiful flowy dance, and there are places where they stop and then they continue and then they keep flowing and they keep moving and they keep everything flowing and moving. And I feel like that symbolism is coming up for us because we have to remember, like, whether you stop to rest or you stop to check something out, like keep the movement going, keep the flow going in your life. Don't get stagnant, I feel like, is a big piece of this. You know, butterflies, especially, like, I've been seeing a lot of monarch butterflies. Like, I can't even tell you. They've been literally dancing around me, flying around me, crossing my path. And, you know, they really symbolize, they could be like your guardian angel. They symbolize protection, the monarchs. And they help you, like, in your transformations. So I feel like just the butterfly dance or the butterfly pattern, whether it's monarch or not, like, yes, it is spirit speaking to you. Yes, it is protective. A lot of times it's like angels or those who have crossed over that are coming through for us through the butterflies. But they're saying pay particular attention to the movement of the butterflies, to the dance of the butterflies. The swirling directions, the stops, it's not even like stop, start, but it's like stopping and then flowing again, and then checking something out and then flowing again, and then going this way and then going that way. And I think a lot of times we lack that fluidity in our lives, and we lack that ability to just dance through life. And like they're telling us, like, it's time for you to dance through your life. Like, you're on the right path. The butterfly is a reminder of that as well. You are on the right path, and you can take many different, they're saying enjoy the route that you're on, enjoy the process, enjoy the dance. Stop rushing to get there. That's a big piece. Okay, I'm going to go over to the cards now. I feel guided to do that. So we just saw, what did we see? We saw Frog, who was reminding us about leaping, moving away from things that aren't healthy for us, taking hops or jumps or baby leaps to move towards the right direction. Then we saw the sea turtle, and the sea turtles really talking about patience and integration, our conscious evolution, our spiritual evolution. And then the mountains, the higher perspective, being up high, reaching for that perspective even when you're on the ground, pulling up out of the mundane to, I feel like, reignite like the passions towards like bigger thought form, bigger picture, bigger dreams, aspirations, things like that. And then the butterfly reminding us to enjoy the process, find the dance, find the flow, stop rushing to get to the destination. Also a symbol of being guided and protected. All right, so I feel like I want to go into the Sacred Earth Oracle, as well as we'll use Ascended Masters and Archangel decks. So let's pull from, let's go Sacred Earth Oracle first. I'm just going to give these another shuffle. Okay, patterns. All right, so patterns. I think it's interesting because we just saw the pattern of the butterfly, but we were also talking about like the patterns of, kind of being the moth to the flame, right? Or like, going towards that which burns us, right? Like where we're needing to break those cycles and move in the right direction, healthier direction. Unity, which could symbolize a lot of things. I think it's union within yourself, unity within the collective. Potential just flew out at us. They're telling me to pull a couple more rows, and then we'll talk about it. Or another row, and then we'll talk about it. Brilliance. Clarity. So clarity and unity, I feel like, are coming up. Clarity is coming up in reverse. So I feel like this, we're going to talk about this in a minute. Moderation. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the patterns. So I feel like these are patterns, cycles, patterns of behavior, patterns of ways of dealing with people. They're saying ways of dealing with certain situations that we're needing to break the patterns. Those are the patterns or the habits in our own life that we need to break that, potentially make us a prisoner of our own bodies or our own minds. This is really talking about taking flight, being free, freeing yourself from those patterns, breaking free of those patterns. And I think in that's where your brilliance comes. That's where new ideas, new inspiration, a new you is emerging. And that's very brilliant, very bright, very colorful. This is taking a new path, taking a new direction. This is doing things in a different way, for sure. And that's allowing your brilliance to shine and radiate, allowing your colors to fly. Whereas before, these old patterns, like they got you dull, or they're dulling you out, and they're just saying that like this brilliance is going to come from breaking these patterns. And that's maybe why they're talking about the mundane, too, because that could be that word mundane that we kept hearing at the beginning. We get stuck in these cycles. We become prisoners of ourselves. We get stuck in maybe it's habit, maybe it's routine, maybe it's just the way that we react or handle things. Maybe it's addictions, maybe it's those types of habits and patterns. They're saying take new flight, find new ways of approaching things, take a different direction. This is like that butterfly dance, reminding us. And then I feel like there'll be like a rebirth, and you're really going to see like your own true colors are so much more brilliant, so much more shiny and radiant than you've been experiencing, because you've been caught in these patterns or cycles that have just kind of dulled things out. So if you're feeling like things are stagnant, or you're feeling like things are just like, like not so exciting, this is where they're saying reach for the higher perspective, but start to find new ways of doing things. Do the things that uplift you. Do things in a new way. React in a new way. Take a new path. Try something new that lets your colors fly, that lets you really experience and explore and express who you are divinely. These patterns feel tied to the ego. They feel tied to our fears. And this is where we're releasing that to come into our divine potential. So let's go over here to potential, since that word's leading us right in. Ooh, low battery, hold on. Okay, so potential. So it's the you who's hiding within you, yeah? It's like you see that face within. And this could also be like the inner child that's unhealed. I feel like that's coming through for me very loudly. Could be like the inner child who's unhealed. She may have been wounded. She may have been told she's not good enough. He or she, like whoever you are listening to this, you may have been told that you were not good enough. You may be carrying that around. Sorry, you guys, I got a call, so I'm just going to splice these together. So this might be preventing you from stepping into your full potential, this unhealed inner child. This also could be a sign or a signal to connect back into what you used to love to do as a child, maybe before the wounding, before the programming, because those things that we love, that we innately love, that represent our brilliance, they could be things simple like painting or skipping or jumping or just moving, doing something creative, building something, being out in nature, catching little frogs, catching little butterflies. Like, I don't know what that is, but let yourself be free and let yourself explore, because this is about integration too. This is integrating your inner child with your adult self, letting that inner child come into play, letting her, guide you, allowing her to come out, allowing that piece of you that maybe you've tucked away or constricted because, like I said, because of the wounding or because of the programming, and letting yourself be as one. Now that brings me, we'll talk about the moderation in a minute, but that's like the unity that I think they're talking about too. So the unity for things to come together is also like uniting your inner self and your outer self, your inner child and your adult self. It's the integration of your shadow and your light. You know, this reminds me of your shadow, the patterns, and your brilliance, your light. This is that unity that we're working on. So I think in the integrating, in the, trading in the, integrating the shadow into the light, trading in, letting go, releasing these patterns and trading them in for new ways of doing things, new ways of being, comes the clarity. We see that, I feel like every time I pull this deck, we see the clarity card. So this is something that I think we're continually working on, is finding clarity, seeking clarity. But a lot of this clarity, I feel like they're saying, is coming through listening to yourself, your gut, your third eye. And maybe that's a little blocked right now, especially when we see the amethyst. I feel like that's your third eye. Looks like she has like a butterfly or something over her crown or her third eye. So this clarity, I feel like, the butterflies coming in right here too. This clarity is, they're saying you're being guided. You're being very guided. So it's probably why, oh, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try this. I'm going to do that. Oh, that looks nice. Oh, I'm going to go over here. This is like that butterfly pattern. They're saying like you might need to try many different things and allow yourself to just be guided and just be pulled before you're going to have like all of the clarity you need on your direction and path. And with moderation, we see the hummingbirds. And I feel like this is talking about they keep saying like small doses, and the word, like that phrase, small doses. So it doesn't mean you need to jump in, and it doesn't mean you need to dive into any new endeavor. It doesn't mean also that you need to completely like pull away from everything that you once knew or those old patterns. It means you can start to pull away from that which isn't working and start to introduce the new in moderation. And the more the new feels good and the more brilliant that feels, the more you're going to move towards it, the more clarity you're going to gain. But I do feel like this moderation thing it's important. I also feel like I'm getting a message around for twin flames. Like they're saying when you have communication, because some of you are going to have communication or just had, or like are starting to have communication, having those talks in moderation and stepping away and having time to contemplate and think and integrate and let things kind of sink in is really, really going to be healthy, especially for the twins at this time in terms of communication. Okay. Let's see what the archangels have to say to us. Outdoors. So this is Archangel Jophiel. She's saying go outside, get some fresh air, and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. I feel like that's that brilliance card. That's what I was talking about. This could also be the potential, like the inner child in you who needs to be unleashed. So we're definitely being propelled or compelled to go outside, to be out in nature, and just renew and refresh your energy. Okay. They're saying a lot of the symbolism is going to come through for you in nature. Obviously, we just saw that in the channeled part of the message. So that's reinforcing that. This way. I forgot to close my closet door. My cats love to go into the closet. So sorry if you're seeing my messy closet behind the video. Spread your wings. So that's about the potential. Archangel Ariel, do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you're ready to soar. So this is about You know, this is about soaring. I mean, this is really about lifting off. It's time to spread your wings, try to move away from the old, find new ways of doing things, move towards your fullest potential. And there is a jumping off point here. And I feel like a lot of you are, I know you're anxious to like dive right in, but they're saying like, spread your wings, go, but like, know that it's a process. It's like, it's a flight. When you guys take off in an airplane, right? You're not like when the pilot comes on, right? He says like, okay, well now we're ascending, we're getting up to however many thousand feet. You know, we should be there in about, 2 hours at your destination or whatever he says. Hope you enjoy the flight. And that I'll give you updates along the way. So for you to be sitting there and saying, okay, I need to go, across the country or, from the north to the south, and the pilot's telling me it's going to take 2 hours. So if you lift it off and all of a sudden we're expecting to be there for him to say, come on the loudspeaker and say, okay, now we're making our ascent, and in just a moment we'll be making our descent, and you'll be at your destination, right? Like that wouldn't be realistic, like a flight is a flight. A flight is a process. A flight takes some time. So even though they're talking about spreading your wings and going for it, they're also saying like have moderation, have patience. Like enjoy the process, enjoy the dance, enjoy the patterns of flowing and moving with things and being guided along the way. But I do feel like this is like go into your full potential. And the Ascended Masters, whoa, 2 cards just jumped onto my floor. And they are fertility, which is creativity, and balance with Isis. So Pan is coming up in reverse. This is about outdoors. It's saying go outside, get some fresh air, connect with nature, and to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. This is about creativity. This is about the mundane, like these mundane patterns, the things that have kept us stuck, the things that feel like not brilliant, not shiny, not exciting. It's time to create something new. So for some of you, a new idea might be coming in. This might be a little push to work on some of your ideas that ignite you, that ignite your passions. This is definitely a call to go into your creative projects. And I feel like being out in nature is going to help a lot of that come through for you. You might even be seeing signs or symbolisms from your own guide team around certain projects or certain things that you should be working on in terms of it helping you ignite your spirit and your passions. So listen to those signs and symbolism. Balancing career and home life. Again, I feel like this is that moderation as well. Like just finding the balance between, where you want to go and what you want to do and what you have to do right now and your responsibilities in the mundane, right? And so the way that we do that is by giving ourselves what we need on a daily basis. So this could be 5 minutes in nature. It might be 10 minutes in nature. It might be doing something fun or doing some sort of self-care. It might be just doing an activity that you like, or you've got to find the time to reconnect with yourself every single day. And if you have bigger projects, dreams, aspirations, connect with them every day. Find a space for 10, 15, 20 minutes, even if it's only 20 minutes to work on your dream or vision. Maybe you're researching something. Maybe you're writing something. Maybe you're creating something. Even if it's just 20 minutes a day, that 20 minutes a day will go so far because 1, you'll be chipping away at the bigger vision, but 2, it puts you in that alignment for that day. And it helps you break out of the mundane, and it helps you break out of the patterns, and it helps you reignite, and it helps that brilliance and your true colors fly. Helps the brilliance come through. So, and that can help you find the balance in the other side of your life, the aspects that maybe are just like responsibilities and maybe aren't so fun or palatable for you, right? So, all right, so I'm going to leave you with that. Like I said, I'll give you guys an update on my personal situation in a few days or within a few days. And I love you and have a great week. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.